Now, there seem to be growing calls to hit the cigarette industry in South Africa with more tax to save a floundering economy. I've heard talk of around 100% increase in excise duties, which is being supported by some in the health sector. Well, predictably, you might say. Let's get another view on this. Joining us from the Fair Trade Independent Tobacco Association, Sinenhlanlha Mnguni. Good afternoon to you and welcome. No doubt you've heard these calls and they seem to be gathering momentum, don't they?
Definitely, Jeremy, and it's quite concerning. I mean, we've voiced our opinion, we've issued a press statement on this particular issue, and we definitely do not support the calls to have a substantial increase on excise levied on cigarettes and other tobacco products. And of course, there are many reasons for this. I mean, the primary one is, of course, the fact that lockdown itself showed just how easy it is to smuggle cigarettes. And of course, when consumers are faced with a question of buying cigarettes, they currently are very price conscious, and if you increase the price of cigarettes to a point where they feel that they would rather purchase those that are currently on the black market, that is what they're going to resort to doing.
To what extent, I wonder, is that black market, that underground trade in cigarettes continuing, given that the ban has been lifted, but I would imagine that people develop new purchasing habits?
Of course, and if we're being honest, we all know, and I've been on your show previously to discuss the illicit trade. We know that it was something that was prevalent even prior to the lockdown period. So it was already a major issue and a thorn in the side of the tobacco industry. What's since happened is in the lockdown period, and a large portion of smokers have become accustomed to the brands that you find in the black market. And what has happened is that the criminal syndicates who are already plying their trade in the illicit economy have now grown their networks and are more resourceful and are actually able to give even more products to consumers who have now turned to those products. And it's going to be a serious problem currently as things even stand, even without the excise increase for the legitimate industry to compete on the same footing as those who obviously do not pay taxes.
There is the other argument, of course, that those people who wanted to return to their favorite brands would do so, and it doesn't matter what kind of tax you put on cigarettes. In essence, cigarettes are tax-proof. People want their fix, they will still buy.
That is not fully accurate, Jeremy. We've seen, as I stated earlier on, that South Africans are becoming more and more price conscious. And what's happened, and especially with lockdown, has shown them that there's not much difference really in the quality of the more premium brand cigarettes and the ones that you find on the cheaper end of the scale. And many have switched to these. And we are absolutely certain that once you put the legitimate cigarettes in a position where they are far too expensive for the large percentage of our adult smoking population, they will turn to those that are, of course, supplied by the black market. So it may have been the case in years gone by where South African smokers were more brand conscious, but there's a significant shift to people becoming more price conscious at this stage.
And just a final question and a quick answer, if you please. Obviously, you would be engaging with government, trying to engage with government to preempt any massive rise in excise tax. What's happening, if anything at all?
Look, at this stage, we haven't sat around the table with government. It is something that we are going to, in the coming weeks, be attempting to initiate because, of course, the industry as a whole, we have constant communication with not only Treasury but other institutions, state institutions which govern the tobacco industry. And these are concerns that we're going to definitely address to them because it was at this stage very dangerous to implement a substantial increase in excise, knowing that our law enforcement agencies and our border posts are currently not at a standard, and admittedly so by these organizations themselves, at a standard that would be able to enforce the laws to ensure that there's maximum compliance in the tobacco industry in as far as the sale of cigarettes which contribute to the fiscus.
Well, we look forward to the outcome of those deliberations. Sinenhlanlha Mnguni from the Fair Trade Independent Tobacco Association.